Do you feel like this is the you're the biggest fighter he's ever fought, and in the same token, is he the biggest fighter that you have fought? And what I mean by bigger, I mean by size alone.
I feel like bigger for me, no, but I'm probably one of the biggest fighters he's fought. Me or probably what's his name, Raymond Morataya.
Morataya, yeah, Morataya.
Yeah, because he's moving up, he moved up, so I feel like I'm definitely the bigger fighter.
Mm, mm. Um, he holds the IBF belt now. Raymond Morataya, now that Lomachenko has vacated and announced retirement. Tell me, what's your thoughts on Raymond Morataya? And I'm not looking past Tevin, but are these certain fights that kind of intrigue you with the belts and even that, what are your thoughts on, Keyshawn Davis moving up in weight? Do you feel like, he, could have made the weight? Do you feel like, yeah, what's your thoughts on everything and with all these champions?
Raymond, I ain't gonna speak on Raymond because I don't really know too much about him. I haven't really never watched none of his fights, so I don't want to sit and bash the man if I don't really haven't
No.
gone there. I would have to actually dive into that and get into that. But the Keyshawn thing, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm gonna speak from a fighter standpoint. If nah, fuck it, I'm gonna just say it. As a fighter, you should know if you're able to make the weight. Like you got, I don't know how long his training camp was, but I'm pretty sure it was longer than 6 weeks. You got 6 weeks to know if you can make the weight to get down and to train and see if you good at that weight. And I just feel like it was wrong on a side because Edwin was coming off a 2-year layoff. He's taking like his first fight back was against Keyshawn, a world champion, and he went through all of that just to get there, make weight, and not get the chance to fight for the belt. And Keyshawn comes in at what 140. I feel like that was whack because I'm a big dude. I'm bigger than Keyshawn. I stood next to Keyshawn. I'm bigger than Keyshawn. If I'm making weight, I know you could have at least got down to like at least 137, 136, but to come in 140, that just like it just shows either you didn't want to fight or you got respect for the sport because that you wasted that man's time. That man literally, we don't know if he was away from his family or whatever, and now he got to come out here. And luckily, he got paid, but he didn't know if he was going to get paid. So I feel like that was very messed up on Keyshawn's part. But good luck at 140 though. So.
Any advice? I mean, people were saying this was worse than the Floyd Schofield. Floyd Schofield, he got sick. He wasn't in his hometown. He had to go to Saudi Arabia. In this situation with Keyshawn, it's his hometown. And like you said, was it a matter of, could have you made the weight or not? I mean, we talked about the mental health situation a little bit. I mean, maybe, I think that's a fight down the line. You two, maybe some words of wisdom of just, some of the stuff that you had to deal with, or not.
Yeah, I wouldn't compare our situations because they're super different. But I
Elaborate more.
yeah, I just feel like just with my situation, everybody got their thing to say. I was really had to get put in the hospital. With Keyshawn, you're in your hometown. You got so many people wanting to see you. People looking up to you, little kids looking up to you, and it's just like a spit in the face to them. Like, and then not to get on this, but they show like Keyshawn like what eating popcorn and in the crowd enjoying everything. And I know his brothers are fighting, but it's like, come on, bro. Like as a fan, I would kind of take that like he played us like you don't and you have yet to make a statement. Like it is what it is. But like I said, hopefully like he's all right mentally and hopefully he can bounce back from it because I know like the whole world against him. I know how that feels. So hopefully he could get right because it's not easy.
Tell me, after fighting Tevin Farmer, and obviously, comparing you guys two, because that's what guys like me do, right? But at the end of the day, like you said, that was his big test, right? Edwin De Los Santos. This is your big test this week. If you would say who after this week who had been tested the most in their career, what would you say?
Like as far as who,
After you fight Tevin Farmer this Saturday,
right?
who do you believe had the biggest test in their career, you or Keyshawn?
Me for sure.
You believe that Tevin Farmer is
Yeah.
way above a Lemos or
Oh
the
yeah.
guy that the guy that he beat for the title.
Oh yeah, for sure. And you got I'm saying it not to like disrespect
Belichick, I
Keyshawn's.
think.
Yeah, I'm not saying it to disrespect Keyshawn's his resume or anything, but look at who he fought compared to who Tevin Farmer is. I mean, Tevin Farmer is giving fighters trouble now. Like, do I think he lost his second Zepeda fight? Yeah. But I watched the Mortaia fight and the first Zepeda fight. I would have kind of edged it to Tevin. So
Right.
I feel like just the type of fighter Tevin is, like, I feel like it would make me more tested for sure.
Do you feel like that first fight with Cepeda took a lot out of Tevin, and that's why he looked the way he looked the second fight? And maybe people
Um,
might think that you guys are picking on that situation.
nah, not at all. I feel like Tevin still got it because in the second Zepeda fight in the towards the end of the fight, he still gave up a good fight. And let's just say his hand was hurt. Do we know if his hand was hurt? No, but let's just say if his hand was hurt, he still didn't quit. You know, he could have been like, you know, y'all need to stop the fight. He kept going to the point where at towards the end of the fight, you know, he was putting up a good fight. So I don't feel like it took a lot out of him. I just feel like, you know, the second fight was just way harder. You know, Zepeda
Mm,
was more pushing the fight more than the first fight. So
I like it. Um, as far as not looking past Tevin, is Keyshawn a fight that you feel like you would want next after Tevin, knowing the fact that you would have that upper hand on having the Tevin Farmer on your resume if all goes well?
nah, I ain't worried about Keyshawn. You know, I'm worried about everybody. You know, in this weight class. You know, collecting the belts. If we meet at 140, we meet at 140. But yeah.
How I've talked about making the weight itself. Bless you. Do you feel like you make it easy?
Oh yeah, for sure. You know, like I said, it all comes down to discipline. You know, I'm 22. I doubt I'm a grow anymore. You know, my 6 foot hopes is gone. You know, but I feel like, you know, I make this weight easy because I'm just super disciplined as far as my eating. You know, I'm not blowing up after fights. I'm always in the gym. And like I said, as a fighter and my team, we should know if we're going to be able to make the weight. Like, we're going to know, like, a couple weeks in the camp. And if we can't make the weight, we'll be like, we got to move up. You know, we don't want to waste nobody's time. So